Today, we're going to read the story of Esther and the king of a foreign land who fell in love with her and married her. God used her special marriage to save Israel. Now, the next step would be for each of the kids to go off with their aide, and the aide would read from whichever Bible was most appropriate for them. Then we go on to packet work, which is where you are going to take into account each child's different abilities, but also what it is you want to teach them. For instance, if you want your child to learn about the Hebrew alphabet, in the packet time, you could be doing that. If you want to prepare them for their first Holy Communion, during packet time, you could be doing that. This is where you can take my Bible stories and apply it directly to your faith. After that, you have a group activity. The group activity in this part is you're going to set up simple puzzles for the kids using those hearts, and you're going to cut them into 2 or 3 pieces, and you're going to have the kids put the puzzles together. Then you're going to put them in the bigger heart and glue it to them, and then they can decorate it. This is a wonderful lesson plan to do right around Valentine's Day. And the kids can go and then give the hearts to their parents. Afterwards, it's time to pop in the videos, or if you have someone who plays guitar, the kids often love that, and you can sing different songs associated with that. And it also might be time, if you have aides who can watch the kids, for the parents to go off and have their own scripture study. In The Child with Autism Learns About Faith, and the sequel, The Child with Autism Learns More About Faith, I have parents' scripture studies, which go directly into the experience of being a parent of a special needs child and how scriptures affect you. In this particular parent scripture study, what we're studying, or what we're reading, is the Song of Songs, which is a very ardent love poem about the desire that a bride and a groom have for each other. The verse I pull out of it is called, "Catch us the foxes, the little foxes that damage the vineyards, for our vineyards are in bloom." The contemplation is, the deep and urgent longing of the bride and groom for each other prior to the wedding is a symbol of God's love and desire for us. If this couple would have a child or two with autism, they would model a different aspect of marital love. The faithful love of God that says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." This kind of love does not flow as naturally as a desire for a physical union with each other. For this kind of love to last, you have to stand guard over it, making sure that things and people, the foxes, that can threaten your union do not enter your heart. Certain friends can be well-meaning but dangerous. They do not understand the pressures that your marriage is under, especially when you have a child with autism. These friends can hold your marriage up to standards that only couples who are under much less stress can achieve. Words like, "I can't believe you put up with that," or "he or she should be doing more to help you," or "they're just taking advantage of you," can sow seeds of resentment that can undermine a marriage. Often adulterous affairs begin with such sympathetic friends. Even if your spouse did everything he or she is supposed to do, you would still feel overwhelmed. You just can't deal with the stress of autism and be Superman and Superwoman. It's like expecting your child with autism to act typically. You practice forgiveness and forbearance with your child every day. As you extend that forgiveness and forbearance to your spouse and yourself, the marital bond will grow stronger, and your marriage can become a clearer reflection of God's love for the world. Now, discussion questions with that is, do you miss the way your marriage used to be before autism? How has it changed since then? What foxes are threatening your marriage? Is forgiveness and forbearance hard for you to extend to your spouse, to yourself? Having autism doesn't have to mean that you're far from God, far from the love of God and the love of others. For me, it pushed me harder and harder into God as I had to deal with things. I wish to offer you that love of God and that consolation that I found for myself. And I want to offer your churches a way to reach out to some of the hurting people of the world who don't need to be excluded, but need to be included. These books can help your church or your synagogue do that. I am going to get to Jesus, I promise, but I thought I'd start the way God did, with Genesis and then going through the Old Testament. And this is Kathy Labosh. These books are available at Future Horizons, www.fhautism.com, and this is Kathy Labosh wishing you the peace and love of God in your life. Thank you.